So let's get us a little bite of one of the boulettes, and you'll get to see how they're, oh my goodness. Look how tender that chicken is. And let's check this out, get a little gravy. Little bite of the chicken boulette and gravy. Y'all, chicken boulettes for the win, y'all. In this video, y'all, these chicken boulettes were super easy. I just took 3 chicken breasts, kind of cleaned them up a little bit. We're going to trim a little bit of fat off of them. Not a whole lot. Make sure they don't have any hard pieces and stuff on the chicken breast. I'm going to use 1 bell pepper and 1 Vidalia onion for this recipe. Now, you can grind this chicken up. That might make the texture a little bit different, but I opted to just put the onion and the bell pepper with the chicken chopped up in pieces into the food processor. It does make a different texture. The texture is, I don't know, more of a meatball texture. It's very good. You do not have to cook these things long. You can actually cook these if you wanted to, like a fritter. You could smash them down and make them more like a fritter and just pan fry them a little bit. The boulettes have so much flavor in them. Make sure that when you do get it mixed up, grind everything really good. If you don't have a food processor, you can just cube it up like really small and make them that way. The texture is definitely going to be a little bit different. But if you have a little small food processor, just put them in the food processor. I just cut the onions into, I think, like thirds or fourths. Just, kind of into chunks, and throw it all in the food processor. Pulse everything together. We're gonna chop up all the onions and peppers first. Now this would also be good with a little bit of jalapeno. Whatever, go crazy with it. Whatever kind of vegetables that you would like, or if you think that you would want in a fritter type mixture. I'm gonna put in a little fork full of garlic. I'm telling you, they had 2 forks full of garlic I'm going for here. The taste of this is great, y'all. Now the one thing that you got to do is you got to remember, you're going to get liquid. You're going to get water from all of these veggies together. So we're going to put this on a little paper plate. You can see it gets to be like a kind of like a salsa mixture is what it does. It gets to be like a salsa texture. And as it sits there on that plate, I'm just going to move it to one side, and I'm going to lay some paper towels on it, and you'll see that in just a second. And we'll let the paper towels absorb some of the water out of it, so we don't just put that back, because you're going to want that consistency of the boulette, of the meat mixture, to be able to make like a not a dense meatball, but kind of a loose type meatball. We're going to add in a little bit of breadcrumbs. Just let it kind of sit over there, and that water will start just coming out of all those onions. And I'm not going to clean the food processor out. We're going to put everything kind of back together and go ahead and get our chicken chopped up into some smaller pieces. Like I said, take your chicken breast, cut off some of that fat. Make sure there's not a hard tendon that's left in there. If you feel a piece of bone somewhere that's left on it, just get all of that off. I'm not going to trim it up, really great, but we're just going to make sure that we're not putting something in there that doesn't need to be. And I'm just going to cut it into chunks, and we're not going to do all 3 at the same time. We're going to just get them in there, pulse them up. I'm able to fit 2 in this food processor, and I just kind of sit there, turn it on high, and I'll just watch the texture. It just turns it into a mush, but it does make this is kind of the same way you would make homemade chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? So I did one there, and you can see it coming together. Then I'm going to throw some more in there real quick when I feel like it gets there. You can stop it at any time. If you want the texture to be a little bit more chunky, just don't let it go as long. And I'm just going to continue until I get all of this in there, everything chopped up. Just put it into the bowl. You can see if your onions and peppers and stuff have enough water in them, you don't really even need to add anything. Like, you can add 1 egg. I actually wind up adding 2 eggs to this one. I wished I wouldn't have had. I wished I would have only added 1 egg and just left it at that. The texture would have been perfect. Adding the 2 eggs, I do add my seasoning in. We're going to put seasoning, but you can see here, after I got everything together, I added 2 eggs, and I wished I would have only added 1. After that, after we got the seasoning, that's my salt, black pepper, granulated garlic, and granulated onion. And I'm able to control the salt on this because I make it myself, so that's going to be a big palmful, so about a tablespoon or a little more than a tablespoon. And we're going to start adding in some of that onion without that water. So we're going to just dig off the top of it and leave that water on the bottom. Put as much as you want, as little as you want, and we're going to put it all back together in the food processor, and we're going to mix it up again. We're going to get it set. I'm going to take the paper towel. You can see all that juice right there from the onion and pepper and the garlic, and we're just going to let that sit there because I wound up vacuum sealing this and freezing it for another recipe, which is a great thing to do. I do have some videos on vacuum sealing too, by the way. You can go check that out on our With the Bickhams channel as well. Just go search for it. So we're going to get it all mixed up. This is where I kind of noticed that the mixture was a little bit too runny, so I had to add in a few little breadcrumbs to get them to that, what I felt like was good. I always like adding some extra white pepper. It gives it a great flavor. Get you a spoonful. You can see, as long as you can make a little ball with it. I still think they would have came out even more tender if I wouldn't have added both eggs. Make you a little ball, a little patty, and we're going to roll it in some all-purpose flour, and we're going to set it all aside just until you get all the patties made. Make sure they're coated with flour pretty good, and just fill the plate up, set them there, and we're going to be getting ready to add a little bit of oil. I'm just going to use a little bit of vegetable oil, just enough to pan sear, to fry them on both sides. So I added about not quite a 1/4 of an inch deep of oil in the bottom of the pan. You'll see that in a minute. And you're just going to stick them in that hot oil, about 350 degrees, and we're going to brown them on every side. So just add your vegetable oil enough to coat the bottom and come up on the sides just a little bit. Bring it to temperature, and let's start to fry these things up. And they turned out so pretty, y'all. And you're going to see them in just a second. Now just get them in that oil. It's not going to take, you're not trying to cook them completely through. Just get them in the hot oil. Let's get them fried there. Like I said, they're going to look nice and golden brown on both sides. As soon as, about halfway, you can start to see them cook up the sides. Flip them over, and then we're going to set them out on some paper towels because they're going to be going in the gravy, and they're going to finish cooking. I was able to get 11 out of this, which was plenty for us. But really, really good. And just like I said, go crazy with this recipe and make the boulettes your own. You can do this with shrimp. They're very, very good with seafood too. So y'all can try that as well. They're getting nice and got that nice color on them. So once we're going to let them go for about maybe 2 more minutes on this side till they get the same brownness on both sides, and we're going to get them out. They're not going to be done, and then we're going to you're just trying to get them to hold, and then we'll make the gravy, and then they'll go back in this gravy. So good, y'all. All right, so we're going to get them out. They got the nice little light brown color on, and you can tell that they're firm, so that's a good thing. They're not as brown on that side, but that's okay. I had cut that heat down a little bit. If you wanted to let them go, a little more, you could, but that's okay. We're going to come out with them.
Make sure you get most of your little pieces out. I've got it on like medium heat. They smell amazing. So they're kind of like a fritter, a croquette, just like that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now we've got to make us a roux. You're gonna need a good bit of gravy, y'all. So the flour that we had, we're gonna keep this. I'm just gonna get a wooden spoon. This is probably, let's say this might be a little too much oil. So let me we're gonna get rid of the oil, a little bit of this oil before we make our roux. All right, so I got some of the oil out and we're gonna just take our flour. We're gonna get back to medium heat. And we're gonna get our flour in that oil. All right, so I'm gonna dump all of this flour. This was probably about 1/3 of a cup. And we're just gonna brown it lightly. We're not trying to make a completely 100% dark roux. We're just gonna get a nice color, get a nice brown, but just not completely dark. And then we're gonna be bringing in milk instead of water or broth. And we're gonna make like an old milk gravy. And it's gonna be a nice brown color for the boulettes. It's gonna need a little bit more flour, so just keep your all-purpose flour handy. And I'm gonna just kind of dump in a little bit more flour at a time. You know, try to do like a tablespoon or so at a time, 1/4 cup, until it starts getting the consistency that you want. That's gonna be about right. That's gonna be about right for me. Maybe a little more shake. That way, it'll just be a little bit easier cooking down, and it'll just make more gravy is all. I had filled my jar up and that wouldn't fit, so I got it in the bag. All right, so we're gonna get that up to about 6 and just continue to stir it on about a medium heat until we get that nice golden brown color. You just have to be patient with it and just keep working it. And now you can see that color coming. It took about 5 minutes. You can see, and I'm not gonna go a whole lot darker. We're not shooting for we're not looking for a dark roux with this. We're just looking for a nice little gravy. And now it's gonna really whiten it up because we're fixing to add the milk in. But it's gonna be really creamy. So let's go ahead and start adding, and our gravy's just gonna come together. And then we're gonna be going on low. Just add the milk in. And stir. And you're gonna instantly see everything thicken up. I'm gonna add some more. So it works the same way if you want to use water, if you want to use chicken broth, you absolutely can. But this is going to be a lighter colored gravy, which is intended to be that way. There's going to be a lot of it though. Now if you don't want to add any more milk, we've added probably 3 cups of milk to this. You can always use your kitchen, your chicken bouillon for flavoring to bring it in with the boulettes. You can add in, if you wanted to do the Holy Trinity and work it in, do that with the gravy, you absolutely can. This is keeping it on the more simple side because we've got so much of the onion and peppers ground up in the boulettes. Now, I've got a little chicken stock, and if I want that color to be a little darker, we're just gonna take a little bit of browning sauce. I'm gonna put a little chicken stock for flavor, just a little bit. Everything's gonna thicken back up nicely. I like to add, this is where I'm gonna start adding in my seasoning. Now it's gonna be, we're staying with the same flavor profile that we had. So we're gonna start off with a tablespoon of my seasoning. And I'm gonna add in more coarse black pepper. I like to have black pepper in my gravy. And we're gonna be putting some dried parsley. We're just going in with that parsley for a little bit of that green. Give it a little bit of razzle dazzle color. You can use some green onions in this if you would like. Make sure you get everything nice and smooth. Now we're gonna change the color just a little. Now it's probably not salty enough. Perfectly fine. You can add that salt at the end. It's a lot easier to add it than it is take it away. So we're gonna turn that down to about 2. And we're gonna darken this up just a smidgen. So we're gonna take some kitchen bouquet, some bouquet, and we're just gonna add a little bit. Just a dab will do. And that'll change the color. It's gonna darken that color up just a little bit. Give it a nice little, a little bronzy tint. I think I just got that on me. And we can still thin the gravy back out if we need. Just trying to thicken up a little bit so we keep our broth right here. I am gonna add a little bit of that chicken bouquet. The chicken bouillon for flavoring. Give it a little bit of rich flavor, and you can also, if you want to make a even more rich little gravy for this, it'll be rich now. You just add you about 3 tablespoons of butter in here. You can take we keep our butter out. You can take just a spoon or a fork or whatever, and add you in a little bit of butter. I got 2 tablespoons about right there. So that's what I'm gonna put in there. About 2 tablespoons of that. And we're just gonna sprinkle in. Our dog wants out so bad. We're gonna sprinkle in some chicken bouquet. So we're gonna pull all this off. You could just do like a spoonful. I'm just gonna sprinkle just a little. Give it a little bit more flavor. You are gonna get some salt out of this. And we'll see how that does. I don't measure all the time. I just kind of go by feel and how my little heart feels, you know. All right. And now we got a little gravy going. I'm just gonna make sure that comes back to a little bubble. And we're gonna add in our boulettes. So add the boulettes back in. We're gonna let them finish cooking right in this gravy. You talk about good. Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's not gonna take them very long. So everything's just about ready. You just need them to finish cooking. So it's not gonna take but probably maybe 10 minutes or so. As long as it comes back to a little boil or a little bubble, a little simmer, 10-15 minutes, and this is gonna be ready. Now we're gonna get our rice ready. All right, the way I like to do my rice on the stove is I use like 2 of the little cups from a light rice cooker that we have of rice. Rinse it like 4 times to get most of the starch out. And then whatever rice you put in here, you put water up to that first line on your knuckle, on your finger. So you touch the top of the rice, and then you fill water up just below that crease on your finger, and you'll have perfect rice on the stove every time. Make sure you add plenty of salt to your rice. So at least a teaspoon, maybe a little more. Then you won't have to add near as much into your food when you're having rice and gravies and stuff. I do like to add in some olive oil, just about a teaspoon per cup. 1, 2, and a little dab of Vidalia. That's just the way I've always made it. It comes out great every time. Now we put the lid on, turn it on high, and bring it to a boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, turn it down, simmer on a good little simmer for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Turn it off and let it sit for another 10 minutes or so, and then fluff it, and you'll be good to go. All right, we got the rice ready. We're gonna just take a fork and we're gonna fluff the rice. Rice takes about 20 minutes, and we're just gonna, oh goodness, look at that. Look at that. Perfect rice on the stove, not all sticky, not stuck to the bottom. Oh, whew, really good. All right, so I'm just gonna use this fork. I'm gonna give me a spoon, and we're gonna dip a little bit of that rice. Believe it or not, I'm not that hungry. So, but for camera's sake, we're gonna make it look good. We're gonna make it look good for camera's sake. Set that over there. And now we're gonna get us a couple of them. We're gonna put a couple of them boulettes and some gravy. Oh, I've got my spoon stuck to the napkin. All right, so let's get in here. And let's get us one of them boulettes there. And let's get another boulette right there. Go ahead and get you some extra gravy. You're gonna need it. This is a little thicker gravy, and like I said, it's a little dark. I mean, it's a good, pretty medium color. I don't know why I said dark. Good, pretty, medium color. And you can jazz this up. If you had some green onions, cut you some little green onions. For camera's sake and pictures, we're gonna take the dried parsley, and we are gonna sprinkle a little bit of that dried parsley right there on top. I don't need that. And now, let's go over there and let's check this out and let's get a bite, y'all. All right, so let's get us a little bite of one of the boulettes, and you'll get to see how they're, oh my goodness. Look how tender that chicken is. And let's check this out, get a little gravy. Little bite of the chicken boulette and gravy. And it is hot. I don't want to burn myself. It smells delicious. Y'all. Another way for you to use chicken breast in your repertoire. Really good. Full of flavor, packed full of flavor, seasoned just right. Chicken boulettes for the win, y'all. You're not gonna go wrong with this. Cut, huh? Y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video. This was super fun to make. It's really easy. Don't be scared of it, and just have some fun with it. It's really flavorful. I hope if you like the videos, y'all, make sure you give us a thumbs up, give us a share, give us a subscribe. Make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you'll know when I post another video. I usually have videos coming out every Tuesday and Tuesday and Saturday, and then sometimes dropping them in between, and on our blog, our withthebickhams.com blog as well. So y'all go check it out. Come back and hang out with me right here in our Bickham kitchen here with the Bickhams. I'm Craig with the Bickhams. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, y'all.